Time now is 7 minutes, 7 minutes after 8. Keith ngesi radio 27th of February 2023. Sincokola naye ke umnumzana Nqaba Nomvete. Masathe lithuba ke simamkele kwi Keith ngesi radio. Mr. Nomvete, good morning and welcome to Keith ngesi radio.
Morning, Loza. I'm Fanny.
You
know how I call you.
Yes, and you're happy. Too much. You're happy. You know arrangement.
Yeah.
And you're going back to Tetranam.
Greetings to the listeners as well.
Yeah.
As a KNR. Ndiyavuya uba lapha namhlanje.
Enkosi kakhulu ke ne-viewers because we're live on Keith Ngesi Radio Facebook page, Keith Ngesi Radio YouTube channel. So sibukelwe i-radio yaye kuba you know, theatre of the mind, audio visual. Abantu bayamazi bango awune-grey hair la mamfene.
That's great.
Yes.
So it's more like radio plus TV.
Yonke lonto leyo ngoku i-technology forces us into yobana sithi qi yonke le nezinto ezinjalo innovative, you know, and creative kwezi zinto kwenzela into yobana sizokwenza usasazo ngendlela efuna ngomphulaphula ekhaya. Well, masigawule siwarhuqe ngenxa ixesha. I know uleqe court nangalo mzuzu ndithi mandikubize enkosi kakhulu for gracing us with your presence this morning. Khasi unpackele lento akunguku kwathethwa nge-debt counselling and of course sisayibhuda kukho debt counselling, kukho debt consolidation, kukho ntoni
nokukho administration,
zintoni ezi zinto kutheni and ingxaki zethu zininzi thina zinazo grey listing, sine-load shedding, sine-water shedding, you know, sino-derator othethenye ubutyobo asikho sure but kukho ezi zinto makhe sizame ukujongana nezikhe mhlawumbi ke siziyeka ezingokwangoku. What is debt counselling?
Look, I'm not gonna talk about both administration and debt counselling. I'm just gonna talk about debt counselling because don't really confuse you.
Yes,
similar kakhulu izinto yobona ungacinga ba ziyafana.
Sure.
So administration aside, which is the worst arrangement ever, the administration.
Okay.
Let's talk about debt counselling. Debt counselling is a debt review. Clouded debt review, and when you say debt counselling, you are almost saying the same
thing.
Word.
Okay,
it's the same thing, same concept. Debt counselling is generated from the National Credit Act.
Okay,
particularly I think Section 79. I'm not going to talk a lot of sections because but Section 79 where National Credit Act, when you feel like you are over indebted,
okay, you
can get into an arrangement called debt counselling.
Okay. Only when
you feel when as an applicant, when as an over indebted person. Not as a debt counselor. A debt counselor is a person who is going to assist you in the process.
Okay.
Let us say you have got your debts. The normal debts, you are paying your bond, you are paying your car, you've got your clothing accounts,
school fees.
You've got your school fees and all that. And when you look at your salary, meaning that your income and your liabilities, you are a little bit insolvent. Or you are a little bit squashed, you can't breathe. Then uzawufumanisa ubana bakubhalela iletter. Letter ekuthiwa it's a section 189 notice. If you feel like elityala liyakukrwitsha, come and make an arrangement with us or go to a debt counselor.
Sure.
What does that mean? It means that you cannot continue with your liabilities on time.
Okay.
Remember, you don't have to pay debt only. You pay debt on time. Debt must be paid on time.
Okay.
So when they can see that, okay, let's say you've got a clothing account and it can see, but no man, you don't pay. I don't want to talk about bonds.
Sure.
You can't pay your cell phone account on time. So bazakubhalela notice but sibona into bana wena you cannot afford to pay on time. Do you have a problem? If you have a problem and you feel like you cannot breathe, come and make an arrangement with us.
Okay.
Tina is a creditor now.
Yes,
yes,
all right.
Or if you feel like you are so much indebted, then you can go for debt counselling. The first thing that you need to do is to go to the creditors. Go to your bank that you have a personal loan with,
Yeah.
and say, my situation has changed. I can no longer afford to pay 3,000. Can I pay 2,000? Because you can make your payment arrangements directly with the creditors.
For sure.
Besides being helped by a debt counselor.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But normally these days, other people don't even think about debt counseling. What happens is that there is a system that looks at people's debts and all that, which these people are registered in the national credit regulator. They can have access to, so they can see that, oh, you've got some
credit bureau,
debts, you are on arrears here.
Yeah.
So they call you, we can see that you're struggling to pay.
Yes.
Can we assist you? Can we consolidate your debt? You understand? Like debt review or debt counseling is not debt consolidation.
Debt review and debt counseling is not debt consolidation. Okay.
What is debt consolidation? Debt consolidation is amalgamation of your. Yeah, you just take all. In fact, let's say you are owing 4 creditors, and then you have got 4 installments coming out of your account.
Sure.
So consolidation is that you go to one creditor and say, pay all of those debts for me, and I owe one person.
Okay.
Do you get my point? That is debt consolidation. It has nothing to do with the credit bureau. You don't get reported to the credit bureau unless, of course, that new account is going to be registered.
Sure.
And the old accounts are going to be cleared. So the adverse information in your name in respect of the other 4 is gone. Then the credit bureau will register the new loan. So you will find out that you were paying 1,000 for this, 300 for that, and all that. When you consolidate, the consolidating company, meaning the creditor that gives you the consolidation of your debts, will have to pay all of them.
Okay.
And then you pay that alone. Remember, it's still a loan. But debt counseling is a court order. You go to court and apply that I can't breathe, I'm over indebted. A court grants you a court order.
Okay.
Then that court order gets registered into all credit bureaus.
Oh.
Then now you happen to appear that you are under debt counseling.
Okay.
Do you get my point?
So ndibhaliswe noba ndinothi mhlawumbi ndifuna into kuzathi yima kaloku wena nansi into nansi flag.
Yeah, the reason why you are under debt counseling is that you can't breathe. So why should you take more loans when you can't breathe?
Sure.
Because the concept is that you are drowning, you just have your head above the water. Let us help you so that at least you can swim.
Sure.
So now we're trying to make you swim. You want to go swim again in debt. So they will reject.
Sure.
Now, if you are married in community of property, I want to mention this. Let's say I'm married with you, Loza, God forbid. Let's say we are married.
Sure.
And we are in community of property. Sure. I received this call. I received the call and I agree with the debt counseling. And then the debt counselor that is calling me is in Cape Town. So they formulate papers. Remember, the applicant in the debt counseling is not you. It is the debt counselor. No, it is the debt counselor.
Okay.
You and your spouse and your creditors are the respondents.
Sure.
So in this application, you are not the applicant. So the primary affidavit, or what we call founding affidavit, is a debt counselor's affidavit.
Okay.
Your affidavit is a confirmatory affidavit that confirms that what my debt counselor is saying is true.
Sure.
So they will just send you that piece of paper and say, okay, sign here, and then we're going to sort this out for you. And before you know it, you are under debt counseling. I'm the one who took the call. I'm the one who agreed on the debt counseling, but automatically Loza
ngulo in leyo ndiyibuza uba
is in as well.
ngubani osatshata u-in awukwazi mdla ngothi ke mhlawumbi masithi from 2005 ukuhla ubutshate ngoko umtshatele yini u-in like really mhlawumbi singabaxolela sithi mhlawumbi from 2005 uzanganele wonke otshate ewe ubheka ngaphaya samxolela from ubheka uba umtshata ntoni u-in.
So you're gonna be on that debt
topic
counseling
for another
well.
day. Yes,
as well. Both of us, we are there, you like it or not. So even if I don't know that you entered into a debt counseling, when I go to the shop and trying to make a credit, they will say, no, Mr. Nomvete, you are on debt counseling. Haibo, what happened? No, you guys entered into debt counseling on such a date. You know, now I want to clear this off.
Okay.
When you are on debt counseling, your debts do not go away. They don't vanish. They don't vanish, and they do not get consolidated. They still breathe, still have life, but your debt counselor is just going to make arrangements of payment and say,
uza endaweni 1,000 rand uzawubhatala 400
300 rands endaweni
sure.
2,000. Let's say in your car you were paying 4,500 and they say, can we give you 3,000 rands?
Okay.
So all your debts are still alive. They are still breathing. The only difference is that they are rearranged.
Okay.
They are rearranged. The payment arrangement has changed now. You are no longer paying you are no longer paying the normal money that you've been paying.
Sure.
Number two, you don't pay the debt counselor that money. You pay the national distribution agents. There's a lot, I think there's about 3. So they say, take your money, pay it in the national distribution agency. And then the debt counselor take his fees for distribution there. And then they pay for you on each and every account. The process is slow. The process is tedious. It has to take its course. Normally, it's 5 years when you are under debt counseling. Now, I used to say to my clients when they come and say, hey, I'm sick and tired of this now. I pay. And for 5 years, you can't take credit, remember.
Okay. Masize kwinto ethi ke ngoku ndiyenzile le nto sendiphakathi iphelile 5 years and okay sendingasawanti to quit ngoku imeko yam ayidiphucuke tu andisabhatali kwa phaya kula yes kula agency and ngoku iphelile nalo 5 years andiyakhonqomba awethu mayiski yaphi yakhona
no
ayikho into etshoyo.
Debt counselors will say to you, we're gonna pay. And then you were earning 15,000. Your debt was 17,000. Now we are reducing your debt now so that you can have leftovers. So what's going to happen is that maybe you're going to pay on the distribution agency 9,000, and you are left with the surplus.
Sure.
So the best way or the wise way to work around it is that let them pay, and then you pay again. On that surplus that you have, then remember now you can breathe according to the arrangement. At least when you were paying, I know it was difficult for you to pay, but when you were paying, you can just put 50 rands there, 20 rands there, 100 rands there, so that you can enhance your period or your process of debt counseling.
It's a long process.
Which is very difficult. It's difficult, I know. Another thing is that while you're on debt counseling, the only advantage, that is the biggest advantage, is that no one can go against you and take court orders against you. So you are safe. If probably, let's say the bond wanted to take your house and you are now subject to debt counseling, they can't prosecute, they can't execute on you. And come and attach, rendered homeless whilst you're under debt counseling. So when you're under debt counseling, there's a shield. Against execution.
Sure.
That's what helps you about debt counseling. And it's one of the biggest advantages that no one is going to take court orders. Even if you, let's say I borrowed money from you, like the normal lending, advancing money, saying, Nqaba, khona 20,000. I give you that 20,000 rands, you fail to pay. Once you are under debt counseling, the court cannot...
small claims,
I can do the process of issuing summons against you and all that, but I can't. The court will refuse to take a court order when you reply and say, I'm under debt counseling, that's why I can't even pay him. I'm offering him 50 rands. The court will say, refer the matter to section 65. So that you can make payment arrangement, do financial inquiry, but you can't take an order. You can't take an order against that person successfully and execute on his property. Which is good news.
Yes,
it is good news. It's good news. It's good news. There's disadvantages and advantages.
Yes.
The disadvantages of debt counseling is that it's a long process, it's tedious, it's difficult even to pay it, because some debt counselors don't even pay. Like they don't even distribute your money. There's those dynamics as well. But I'm not going to talk about that because I don't have proof of it. Now, let's say you spend 2 years on debt counseling successfully, like they have been paying. Let's talk about the best case scenario. Your agency has been paying, or your counselor has been distributing for you. You've been paying to the agents, then your counselor is distributing. You are paying more probably, and you finish off the debt that was 5,000. You finish off the other one, and when you finish 2 years, you are halfway on your debts. You have settled others. You've got settlement letters. You can come back to court, and rescind that order. And say, I am no longer over indebted. Remember, you've breached this agreement because it was supposed to be 5 years. But it's breachable. You can still breach it. You can still come back. I got promoted from work. I got promoted at my work. Or I took my residue that I got after debt counseling, bought some sweets, sold them. I've made some income. Or I hit a lotto, or whatever the case may be. Now I want to get out of this. This is what you need to prove. One, that you have been placed under debt counseling, meaning that court order. I used to say to people when they come to my office and say, "Come, let us rescind this," and I say, "Can I have a court order?" Others, they talk over the phone. The debt counselor is in Cape Town or Joburg. There's nothing sent on her email. There's no case number. We don't even know this court where maybe it was not East London. But the jurisdiction must be where the data is, where the first respondent and second respondent are. If you are living in East London, it must follow you. The jurisdiction must follow you. But sometimes how am I going to go to court and say I want to rescind Mamfene's order where there is no order? Where is that court file? So the magistrate is going to say, where is this thing that you are talking about? Where is the court file? Where is this case number? So when you take debt counseling, I will repeat this one. It's important that I repeat it. Get yourself the court order. Yibane copy yako of the whole process from that founding affidavit and notice of motion up to the granting of the court order. So that when you want to rescind, you don't go around with yes, because anyone is going to need that court order. But again, sometimes we get successful where the client says, "No, I know my debt counselor." And then you call that debt counselor, they give you the papers, and you go and rescind successfully. In some other situations that I had as an experience, sometimes the person gets into debt counseling, the debt counselor stops working as a debt counselor in the process. You are still under debt counseling. When we're trying to call and get the court order, you can't find.
Why
When you go to the National Credit Regulator, they say, no, this person was struck off the roll. We don't know this person. We don't even know the whereabouts. We can't find that person. Now it's going to be a very difficult process because you need to apply in the National Credit Regulator. And then now you are rescinded in a special way, which is different from the way you entered into debt counseling. So you need to be careful when you get into debt counseling. Another thing I want to warn people about is that debt counseling is not debt consolidation. When they call you and say, we can consolidate your debt, ask them, are you going to pay all of it? What are you going to do? Because consolidation means you pay for my debts and you become my only creditor. So as a debt counselor, how do you become a creditor as well? Because you are not registered as a credit provider. You know what I mean? So you need to be careful of those things, that you get your court order in place if it is debt counseling. If they say debt consolidation and at the end of the day you got a debt review order against you, you can quickly rescind it and say, this was not, I didn't mean this. It was not my arrangement. I thought I'm getting into a debt consolidation, but I ended up, and before I knew it, I'm under debt review. So you can even rescind. Section Rule 49 of the Magistrates Code Act says you can rescind an order that was mistakenly granted against you. So it was by mistake. There was misunderstanding between the debtor and the debt counselor. You know what I mean? And then you say, no, I didn't want debt counseling. I wanted debt consolidation. The court will listen to you. But you will need to have the records. You need to prove, because it's a civil procedure. It's papers only. There is no viva voce evidence. You don't stand there. Sometimes, in fact, most of the times, you are not at court when debt counseling when debt review order is taken against you. You are not needed. We don't need you.
Yo, Mpulapule, it's 29 minutes after 8. We keep getting ready to naye ke Nqaba Nomvete from Nomvete Attorneys ezosicebisa ngalo mcimbi, because ke wow kuyagoweka kwicala lakwa finance. Imigobo abantu bangena ezitrapini ngelizama ke shem ukuphefumula, sibe singena ke ngoku singazi. Yona nto ke siqhuma masise nayo khona ukuze ke asifundise, asityebisele into yobana ihamba njani. Uba ngaba ke ungena, yakwazi ungena ngebusiness ukuthi uyaconsolidate ngamatyala ebusiness.
No.
Ayingeni business.
Debt counseling excludes any juristic person. Let me call it juristic person. Sure. Any business, any trust and all that, you do sequestration on those ones. You do business rescue. You don't do. Debt counseling is for individuals that are on debt and that are over indebted. It cannot be a company. You can't take your company and say, I'm going to subject my company into a debt review. No, it doesn't work like that. Your company must be subject to a business rescue, or it must be sequestrated. It can't be on debt counseling. It's only that's a good question that you've just asked. You can't do it as a juristic person. It's only for natural persons. Let's use those words. Sure. Jurisdiction and natural. Because I don't want us to differentiate CCs, PTYs and all that. Natural person gets into debt counseling. A juristic person cannot get into debt counseling.
Masithi ke ndizokuyeka, ndiyayazi ukuleqa enkundleni. Ingaba mhlawumbi ke ndiphakathi kule nto hayi imeko imbi, kuqhume nedivorce, kuthiwe nibe nguqhusa, iphele iminyaka, iphele i-5 years, nani yenziwe yayikhona ecourt. Akukho nto iqhubekekayo nje, tshintshe ne-address, nomnye agoduke ayohlala elalini, nomnye aye ngapha. Moba ngoku hayi nileqe 8 years, 15, nani nayo kodwa.
Yes.
Ikho nto ecimayo okanye kwenzeka ntoni ongavele uthi hayi soyisiwe nathi mhlawumbi nalaa company, laa debt consolidated that counselor mhlawumbi ke nayo ikuncamile ifumani kwayona. Kwenzeka ntoni?
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's say now you are divorcing. Debt counseling is a court order.
Sure.
It does not just vanish in the thin air without being rescinded by law. So let's say now we were married. Saxatyaniswa kwangala matyala. Sihlukane.
Yes.
Sinet divorce decree.
Yes.
No, you need divorce decree. Still you have to apply for rescission of that debt cancelling. So it doesn't fall away because your marriage fell away. Why? Because debt cancelling, let's start from registration. It has been registered in all credit bureaus.
Okay.
So that adverse information will follow you even after marriage, even after divorce.
Yes.
Because it needs to have a court order that removes it. So uzothi sohleli kwezolali uyishila indoda wawuhlala ezilalini uzawuthi uhamba uyofuna ifone
kuthiwe mhlekazi
asizukwazi ukunceda because you and your husband are under debt cancelling. So that husband again must confirm your affidavits that says we are no longer under debt cancelling. And you can't even talk about divorce there. You just talk about indebtedness and not being over indebted at this stage because it's irrelevant now whether you are divorced or what. You got there together. When you come out there, you come out there together. Now, if Lozane, on follow up on your question, if that debt counselor it does not exist any longer, the National Credit Regulator is going to help you. Because these things are registered there as well. So they can see they do have access on documents. So the NCR, you just write to the NCR and say, I got into debt counseling on this date and time. This is my information on the credit bureaus. I need to come out, but my debt counselor is no longer on the picture. So the NCR will help you out of the process, but it's going to be
so la matyala noba ni divorce okanye ni divorceanga ubangaba mhlawumnye naphinda nathi senenze lonto naphelelwa ngumxhelo kwagqithi 8 years or 12 years okusalayo nokushiyekayo
mawabhatalwe kufuneka ebhatalwe.
No, but what happens kumuntu ongenazo kwa means ongenazo nyani ujonge 350 ngoku wayinazo ngoko kwabhatyala kibhobhile kwaphela kwanto akukho nto bezoloku sinela belief after 5 years azawucinyelwa amatyala.
No. Amatyala a prescribe xa yabona xa ungene kwi debt counseling uyastopha i-execution yamatyala but awacimi wona. Ityala licima after 5 years. One, xa kukhona i-pardoning mawacinywe amatyala are older than 5 years. Number 2, acima after 3 years amatyala ne xa kuthiwa ucreditor akawalandelelanga. Let's say I owe you I owe you money and you don't call me, you don't talk about this debt. It created 3 years and then after 3 years on the first month iphelile 3 years uthi ndifuna imali yam Nomvete, I'll tell you it's prescribed. That is governed by the Prescription Act that elityala liphelelwe because but if bendikufonela ndikufakela i-letter of demand ndiqashe i-tracing agent yokukhangela but ndingakufumani now ndikufumene and I issue summons. Other people bakhe bathi etyala lina 5 years Mr. Nomvete, but 2 years ago wayesayine i-acknowledgement of debt acknowledge elityala waqalisa wabhatala mhlawumbi
noba i-50
wabhatala 4 installments uyi-interruptile i-prescription
la 3 years yawuphinda uqale nye 3 years
aliske liphele nje lipheliswa kuba khalilandelelwe. If lilandelelwe waresponda, even if awurespondanga but if lilandelelwe maske sithi umzekelo ne ucreditor uyawakubona uba hey amana ubhatala walihanda over ityala walisemagqwetheni amagqwetha issue summons kwi-address wawuhlala kuyo ngokuya wawuthathela tyala awusekho
so andifumana nganto mna as far as I know.
You don't know that there is a follow up on
sure.
Ucinga uba bathule wena. Then they issue summons, you don't respond, they take judgment against you. But banga execute because abakwazi ukuhlala. You understand? Ela tyala lifanga. Awuzuthi xa uzothathela i-computers endlini yakho ne-fridge. Uthi no kaloku ndandihlala phaya, you know, you can only just apply for rescission and say no, I didn't know can't save because that's about address wrong. But awukwazi uthi liphelelwe, aliphelelwanga because within the period of 3 years, they followed up until they took judgment against you. So this prescription thing must not confuse people. Liphelelwa xa lingalandelwanga.
And
xa lilandelwe,
alizuphelelwa whether good debt counseling or not.
Aliphelelwa.
Yeah. Hayi sana mfunantsika ngumbona.
Debts must be paid. That's what is important.
Okay.
But debt counseling and debt review arrangement is good when you are really drowning.
Okay.
Don't get into debt counseling kunetyala eliyi-1. You understand le nto itshoyo?
Zama ubhatala.
Ukhona umfo apho wandifowunela lapha, hey, kuthiwa ndikwi-debt counseling. No, akunawuthiwa.
Utheni wena?
Ayenziwa loo nto uba kusotshiwo.
Ndivile.
Ikhona le call wayithathayo. And I remember this call, man. Ndithi jonga ke ukuyo i-debt counseling. But ndinetyala eliyi-1, Mr. Nomvete. Ndithi ukwelo tyala liyi-1 belikohlula. Because into ebalulekileyo pha, you just have to prove that I am over indebted and I am failing to pay my debts. You said there's someone who's asking some questions.
Yes, I'm trying to see if VN yakhe apha qha ingathi iza kunditswinela ndawuthi isinike feedback ngenxa ndifake kwakule line 1 isinike feedback imphulaphula bangaboni okunditayiphele ndizobona uba ndithine uthumele ndiva nje inakuphazamiseko oluthile efuna undinika lona bendifuna uba sive uba uthini nomphulaphuli, but it looks like izasinika feedback singakwazi umva umphulaphuli wethu. Ndiyaxolisa uba unoyitayipha ndikwazi uyifunda because ngokwangoku izawutswina kabuhlungu apha ezindlebeni ngale ndlela ndiyibona ngayo. Ndiyayixolisela loo ndawo kodwa ke isibet kakhulu xolo ke mphulaphula, but ke kuyo yonke laa nto sivile ngokuba yintoni yebenana abantu bayagowa uba ngabe iphelile iminyaka emithathu ungakhondaktwanga ungakhange ube kanti ubhatele because kaloku yes, but kukho abantu bathi hayi wethu ungamina just 50 rand wavuma nje ube mhlawumbi ubusene 28 months uzawuphinda uqale imi-3 years phinde uqale eqaleni.
Interrupted prescription, it doesn't go like that. You've interrupted it. So guys, court orders, documents I cannot say debt counselors that are away from you are bad debt counselors. They're not bad ones. But I think the best is to contact a local debt counselor in your office that you can walk in there. That would be my personal advice. Ayonto wena lozale ndiyithethayo ebhalwe ndawo.
Sure.
Understand? It's just my personal feedback from what I've experienced from my clients. It's better to deal with a debt counselor that has got an office store that you can open.
Yeah.
Than to deal with a debt counselor that you don't know where they are. But if you happen to deal with the debt counselor that is away from you, please get documentation so that thina singabi stuck when we want to rescue you out of that pit. You need to have some documentation to prove so that we can even know the court. And there is no debt counseling that you enter into without a court order. There must be a court order.
Awuzothi kuthiwa
No. Awusukufakwe nje.
Kuthiwa ndivile.
You consent on it. There's a court order on it.
All right. I think masivale apho uzawuleqa ke enkundleni. It's 20 to 9 mphulaphuli nam ndizolungiselela ke uba masiqoshelise imicimbi ekhaya. Nsenawari ke nomphulaphuli benifuna uvuba uthini na kodwa ke singaqhubeka napha ku Facebook sesiphumile ke online so that Mr. Nomvete xa ufumene i-chance yoba aphendule ke umbuzo wakho uyo reply pha ku Facebook. Uyojonga phaya. Yeah, I'm sure izabe ikhona apho sizikwenza ba izasincedisa mphulaphuli awupuvile. And ke okwethu apha is to inform abantu sikwazi uba abantu bafunde and educate. Uzothi uthatha ubuqoma kwakuthiwe ungamlandela ke ufumaneka phi Mr. Nomvete?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter. On Facebook Nqaba Nomvete na ku Instagram. On Twitter I'm at _Nqaba Nomvete. My offices, the first one is here in East London at Pier Street, up at Berea, number 3 kwi-building ekuthiwa Global House. Uzawufika pha
House.
sibhaliwe.
Okay.
And then the other office that I have is in Tata at number 15 at Nelson Mandela Drive. Building ekuthiwa Yellow Corner Building.
Okay.
It's a Yellow Corner Building just next to King Sawatatale KSD Pharmacy. I'm just next to KSD Pharmacy.
Okay.
In Tata. Here in East London, Beria
Ulape
Global
Beria.
House, and you can contact us 043 721 1208, or you can call it straight. Yes, what I'm noticing, my clients are just DMing me on Facebook. They just go direct message and say, "Can I have your number?" So I'm still handling it, you know.
Silapho ngokwase bendifonela i-landline mna ndiminqa nguwaxa ebusuku.
I don't have a problem with those DMs. I mean, people must know that I don't have a problem with those DMs.
Okay, all right. Ndithi nam ndangena ngendlela engeyiyo kulo mcimbi. I have emails I sent to the company stating that I did not sign up for this. It was 2020 then. I think makakak DM naye.
Yeah, just Nqaba Nomvete Facebook, DM me, then we're going to deal with it.
Uyicacise ke bulapha kwi-social crossover Keith ngesi-radio. Ngenxa yexesha funeka simkhulule buleqa enkundleni. Mr. Nomvete, thank you so much for your time.
Dibulele nam, guys. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much.
All right. That's Nqaba Nomvete from Nomvete Attorneys. Sizamkhupha ngongengoma nam ndizokwazi ke ukukhawuleza ndilungise imicimbi yam, ndilungiselela uhamba ngoba ke uyeza uLungelo Kanzama in a moment of truth between 9 and 12. Now, Tasha Cobbs said, "Fill me up." Ndibe kanti ndizawuphuphuma till I overflow. Good morning.